Welcome everyone to the UTRGV Trombone Studio. My name is Dr. Pedro Martinez, and along with Dr. William Hogberg, we are the trombone professors at UTRGV. Before we move on to the Etude information, I'd like to highlight some recent accomplishments by the UTRGV Trombone Studio, including an invitation to perform at the 2020 International Trombone Festival in Osaka, Japan, which was canceled due to the COVID pandemic, 2 performances at the 2019 International Trombone Festival in Muncie, Indiana, performances at the Big 12 Trombone Conference in Lubbock, Texas, performances at Trombonanza in 2019 in Santa Fe, Argentina, and an open invitation to perform in Chile once we get cleared to travel once again post-pandemic. The remaining video contents will contain general practice tips, a breakdown of Etude number 1, and a performance example at the end of the presentation. As a rule of thumb, spend most of your time practicing slowly or under tempo. I recommend starting at half the indicated tempo range and work your way up to speed gradually and meticulously. Record yourself as often as possible, as you will be able to hear things that you miss when playing. Take your time. Do not rush the practice process by taking things fast or up to tempo too soon. Record yourself often and be as detailed as possible when listening, and always strive to improve from what you hear. Please note that recording yourself and just hearing the recording is not going to improve your playing. It is important to listen, analyze, and critique your recordings so you can address areas for improvement. There's a big difference to hearing something and listening to something. Don't just hear the recording, listen, analyze, critique, fix. Practicing slowly and recording yourself are 2 of the best things you can do to improve your overall playing. I encourage you to do both regularly. Don't stress out about written tempo markings. Our goal is to try to get into that range, but it is important that you do not focus so much on reaching that tempo range if it proves difficult to play cleanly and with your best tone. In the end, no matter how well anyone can execute the music, tone quality needs to remain a top priority. Never sacrifice the best tone you can produce. It may seem obvious to most, but you must enjoy making music. If you are not enjoying the process leading up to the goal, then you need to change your outlook or attitude toward practicing. A good attitude, a positive attitude, goes a long way in succeeding in anything in life, especially music. So have fun and enjoy the privilege of making music. Moving on to the Etude. Etude number 1 is the E-flat major march, or Marcia, on page 7 of the Voxman Selected Studies for Trombone. The instructions indicate to play from the beginning to the end. Tempo range is chord note equals 88 to 96. There are no indicated errata for this Etude, meaning that you don't need to correct anything on the music. The beginning of the Etude indicates a march or Marcia tempo, but with a slightly slower suggested tempo range than the typical march tempo. The suggested tempo range is quarter note equals 88 to 96. This etude offers the performer the opportunity to express two different musical moods right from the start. The beginning is more playful in character, while the second and fourth lines introduce a more aggressive quality. This section should be played a bit lighter and in a playful manner, and it is acceptable to use the slightest articulation when slurring into the eighth note for ease and accuracy if needed. Regarding grace notes, please note that all grace notes are not played the same way. Grace notes with a slash through the note are to be played just before the downbeat, and grace notes without a slash through the note are to be played on the downbeat. In this etude, the grace notes have a slash, so they are to be played just before the downbeat. The term dolce may also be implied at the start of the piece, though it is not indicated in the music until measure 17. If you look at the rhythmic and melodic pattern, it is similar, and it can be implied that you play it in the same manner. Dolce simply means sweetly, or in more specific trombone performance terms, you should strive to play in a smooth, delicate manner. As referenced earlier when talking about the two different moods right from the beginning of the etude, this section should be played a bit more energetically and aggressively. I cannot stress enough the importance of proficiency in scales and arpeggios. Starting in measure 33 and to the end of the etude is where your scale and arpeggio exercises will really pay off. When playing measures 33 and 34 and 37 and 38, it is recommended that you stress the half steps leading to the slurred B flat to add direction and clarity of articulation. Whenever the scale passages are played in this etude, it is appropriate to crescendo with a rise in the melodic line and decrescendo when the melodic line goes down. Especially for the second half of this etude, scale and arpeggio studies in all keys are crucial to making this etude feel more relatable and comfortable when learning and eventually performing. In closing, remember to practice hard and have fun when you play.